Man City won, Arsenal nil. Big win for Pep, big loss for Arteta. That is the probably the highlights of this FA Cup game. Played on a on a Friday. Pain in the ass, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just gonna give you guys. Well, first of all, welcome back. I'm Pat Boston, and I'm gonna give you a bit of thoughts on the game. Kind of a bit of the highlights, which there weren't many, but the meaning and probably the consequences of this game, which are gonna be big. They are big. Like this game, whether you like it or not, it was probably one of the biggest clashes in the season. So yeah, in the end, City narrowly edged Arsenal 1-0. Nathan Ake scored with a tidy finish. But yeah, just gonna bring you with the thoughts of the game. I mean, first of all, on the lineups, I thought both teams. Arsenal, I was surprised, went more conservative. They definitely rested a lot of players like Sinchenko, Odegaard, Martinelli. So I'm trying to see if I don't forget anyone. I think Saliba was out as well. So Thomas Partey didn't even get on the pitch. So they definitely did leave some players. I think probably thinking of the league, which it's illogical. I mean, Arsenal, it's them. That's definitely their objective this season. So I can't really blame them for trying to go for that. Obviously, they still have the Europa League, which, well, still a couple of months, still a couple of weeks away. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I thought the lineup was correct by Arteta. I think, well, Trossard played on the left, which I thought did decent, put a decent shift first half, created something, and then over to City, pretty much. I wouldn't say their best team, but nowadays with Guardiola this season, you can't really tell their best team because he does like to switch either the wingers or the centre backs a lot. Obviously, we know Ederson plays in the league. That is obviously certain. But you don't really get to see that from Pep. Sorry. So I mean, yeah, I thought both teams kind of. I think they just kind of waited a bit about and then saw, if we get the goal or get it a bit tasty, might go for it. But yeah, I thought first half not much happened, but I thought Arsenal, they were comfortable being with like not having the ball at the start. But then I thought on transition, I thought especially Tomiyasu, Tierney did do a bit holdings at times, but I thought Fabio Vieira was really good at linking up the play. So I think they created a couple of chances. Eddie Nketiah one probably should have scored. I mean, if you're a striker and you're looking at that, you get the ball through the end. As a striker, you definitely want to, at least hit the target. So probably he will be disappointed. And then Trossard had a chance, I think 2-3 minutes beforehand, which City keeper made a good save. It just kind of crossed and. But yeah, I thought interesting. They played well. I thought they created, gave a little bit of problem to Rico Lewis on the right, and to Ake created, a bit of a, some issues, something to think about. I thought City first half really sloppy. They're really sloppy with the ball. Rodri was just not hitting the passes. Grealish, they kept going for this ball over to Haaland over the top, which you could tell Arteta knew, and they had the line back set for. They had set for Haaland, so he wasn't really going to get in behind the two centre backs. So I thought that was a bit pointless. And then I thought, yeah, just not really that much in the game. Like they just didn't really offer much. I thought Mahrez not really at his best. Don't know what's happened to him this season. Just not really been at it. Grealish, a couple of runs, not really that much. But I thought De Bruyne had a good chance. This would have been probably one of the goals of this season. Left shot goes over the bar, and could be talking about one of the absolute massive goals of the season. Like it could have been a screamer. But yeah, I thought half time 0-0, boring. I was on stream watching this live on Twitch. By the way, I'll leave it down below. I'll do a lot of these watch alongs. But yeah, no, enjoy. We were kind of talking about half time, just not really much into it, much in the game. So then second half, Stones went off injured towards the end of the first half. So Laporte went on. Thought he did well in defence. He's a good defender. I mean, but Stones is as well. So I mean, it's not really much difference. But I thought he did okay. Then Rob Holding went off because he was on a yellow, which made sense. Saliba went on. Saliba went on, probably to have a bit more control of the ball. And then I thought the subs. I thought Alvarez going on for Mahrez made a big difference because he was involved in the goal. In the middle, City are playing. Well, before that, City were kind of, knocking around the Arsenal's goal, because I think after first 5 minutes, I think our City did get a bit of the whole of the game. I won't say they created much, but they definitely put added some question. I think De Bruyne had a couple of balls in behind. The goalie had to punch a couple of balls. They were getting closer, but yeah, it's that ball from I think it's Ake. Maybe I'm wrong, but he's on his own. Alvarez turns, looks at the goal. It's a brilliant shot. Keeper. I don't think he saves it, but then comes off the post, goes back to Grealish, who probably should hit it first time, but he waits. Has the ball on his right. I think he's just waiting for someone to look up for the pass. Tomiyasu Saka come after him, and then he's really smart. He turns and he hits the ball in between them, and then Ake with a brilliant Ake with his right foot hits a brilliant finish, low down to the keeper's left, no chance. Great goal. So yeah, and then immediately after that, Arsenal kind of went for it. To be honest, took on Zinchenko, Odegaard. Saka went off. He didn't have a terrible game, but he wasn't really involved. He wasn't really involved in the game, so I think he just didn't really have as much freedom as he would have in probably the Emirates, or just at least last game against United. Definitely Rashford maybe not dropping as much, and Shaw, definitely had a lot more space. So I think that was probably a bit of an issue for Saka. But yeah, no, I thought first 5 minutes after the goal, they had City in their own half. Saka had a brilliant pass to Nketiah, that was just cleared by City barely, and then Saka, who's involved again, brilliant pass to Gabriel offside, Martinelli, who was offside unfortunately. But yes, Zinchenko thought did well, really smart with the ball when he came on. Odegaard didn't really get on the ball because I think the last 15 minutes, I don't know if it was tiredness or something, but City kind of kept the ball and just kind of calmed the game down. And towards the end, a corner or two which looked a bit dangerous, but Arsenal didn't really in the end get to trouble the keeper as much. So they had that small chance which Martinelli gets away from Kyle Walker, lays it back to, I think it's Nketiah and Odegaard, but then Gundogan sticks a leg out. Could have gone anywhere, but the keeper gets it. So yeah, and that kind of finished the game 1-0. Obviously for Arsenal, I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm obviously a cunt. Speak for Arsenal fans, but they probably will be a bit disappointed because it was a game of fine margins, and unfortunately they lost. Maybe another day and Nketiah scores that, they're 1-0 up or 0-0. Maybe in extra time, where they're more firepower, they can maybe win it. But yeah, that's what happens when you play against a team like City, just fine margins, and in the end they got the goal and they're through. All I can say for Arsenal now is kind of focus on the league now. You've got probably the Europa League coming up soon in March, which I think is a good chance for what you did today. Just give a lot of these guys, Fabio Vieira, Trossard, people that probably not gonna start, Tierney, good game time. But yeah, I think obviously focus is going to be 100% in the league. Big game on at Goodison Park on next Saturday, 12:30, against Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche's first game in charge at Everton. So that's obviously a totally different topic. But then for City, yeah, City 5 points off Arsenal. Game play the game more. We know what City can do. They're definitely capable of going on a long run. So it's all about what they can actually do. I think Alvarez definitely needs to play a lot more. I think maybe stick him up with Haaland as well, to change a bit. I think I like Rico Lewis. I think maybe he's good. I think Mahrez needs moving. I think he needs to play more. I don't think he's happy at the club. Bernardo Silva was okay, but yeah, no, I think City be interesting to see. I think they're definitely the team capable to go over Arsenal. I think it's going to be a big challenge for Arsenal. They're going to have to see how they can respond to this win. I think that's going to be key, and it's going to be obviously going to be a big change of character and show that then they can actually do it. Because when it's easy, I think we can all do it. But when they go and get stuff, you know what happens. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of a bit of the summary. I mean, fair play to City, got the goal, defended well, and to Arsenal unfortunately, but that's fine margins. That's football. That's football for you lads. Anyway, like and subscribe. Hopefully more content. Keep up with the streams, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. So yeah, hope you enjoy the video. See you guys. Peace.